So let's now move on to some of the fun stuff. How do we actually get this into movie mode shooting? So step one, switch on your camera. Seems obvious enough, but you know, it's kind of important. Stage two is to set your mode dial wheel into manual mode. Very, very important. Step three is to engage video mode here on this side of the camera. So by flicking from the stills mode to the video mode. And we're now in movie mode. Media is very important. You have to use class 10 and above cards. Otherwise the video won't write correctly to the camera. Now you can use SDXC, SDHC and SD cards or compact flash. UDMA compact flash, class 10 and above, are the kind of minimum standard you want to be using for shooting video. It's imperative that you use the right speed of cards when shooting video. This is probably the number one mistake new filmmakers make when buying cheaper cards. You get what you pay for with media, and just because a card looks like a card, it could be a whole different machine on the inside. You want UDMA cards, class 10 and above. These are going to cost more than the cheap and cheerful cards you get in bargain bins. Please trust me when I tell you this. Invest good money in cards. It's where your rushes live. It's where your media lives. So make sure you buy the best cards possible. I can't emphasize this enough. It's so important. So we've switched the camera on. Our mode dial is set to manual. We've engaged video mode. We've made sure media is in the camera. Now we could effectively just go and record, but there's a few steps that we have to go through now to double check that we've got the right settings in the menu and that our card media is ready to be recorded on. So let's delve into the menus now and walk you through what you have to do to make sure your camera is ready to shoot video in exactly the right quality and exactly the right settings that you want to work for your workflow. The first thing you have to do is press the menu button. Now, it's worth noting here that depending on whether you've got the camera function set to movie or to stills mode, will show up a different set of menus. So it's very important that you make sure the camera is set to movie mode so you bring up the right set of menus. So we're now looking at the menus, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of options. The first thing you want to do is scroll all the way along to the spanner menu. And when you see in the spanner menu, there's 4 submenus. I want you to stay on the first submenu and scroll down to Format Card. The first thing I always like to do is format my media in both card slots. Once you've formatted your card, the next thing you have to do is set the date and time in the camera. That's in the next submenu. Select that. The date is the 28th of March 2012. That's fine. The time is actually 12:24 and we're in London, UK. And we can hit OK. Language is English, we can leave that as set. The next submenu is the video system. That's the third submenu. What you want to do here is select the region you're in. We are in a PAL region. Now PAL is the region our televisions are set to. Another way to think of it is as 50 Hertz. So if you're in a 50 Hertz power country, you will set your sequence here to PAL. If you're in an NTSC or 60 Hertz country, set it to NTSC. This will engage a different set of menu options in the video types you can record. Now scroll all the way back to the main camera setting, which is the red camera. Within that, there are 5 submenus. Scroll along to the 4th submenu and then down to movie record size. Here you'll see a variety of movie record sizes with bit rates you can record at. Now some of the numbers in this are quite confusing, but starting at the top, 1920 by 1080 25 all I will give you a maximum clip length of 22 minutes and 8 seconds, or the limit of the size of the card you're using. The same setting, 1920 by 1080 25 frames, but using the higher compression interframe IPB setting, will give you a longer record clip time of 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Similarly, at 24p in 1920 by 1080, in all-I you'll get 22 minutes and 8 seconds. And then 1920 by 1080 at 24 frames IPB, the longer record time of 29 minutes and 59. At 1280 by 720 50p in the all-I compression, you'll get a maximum clip length of 24 minutes and 52 seconds. And then shooting at 1280 by 720 50p IPB at the higher compression, you get 29 minutes and 59. And then finally, if you want to record in the standard definition of 640 lines at 25 frames a second, you'll get 29 minutes and 59 seconds. So there's a lot of options there. My suggestion is you stick with 1920 by 1080, 25p or 24p, depending on the region you're filming in. Now in the PAL settings, you'll be able to see all the PAL frequencies that are available to you. Now, as an example, if I go back to the video system and select NTSC and go back to the red camera setting, you'll now see a different range of selectable frame rates to record in. What you'll notice is that instead of 25, we have 30 frames a second. 24 is universal, but instead of 50 frames a second, you have 60 frames a second. So we've now set the camera up in the time zone we want to work in the television system we want to work in, and in the appropriate frame rate we want to work in. So we can now hit record and go out and shoot. But of course there's more to it than that, because we want to think about recording sound and then also altering other functions within the camera to give our pictures the best chance of looking as good as they can in the filming situations we're going to find ourselves in.